Hello everyone, Teeny here. I hope your days were going wonderful and lovely. Happy Christmas Eve. Today we are going to create our final lesson with the Frosty Fun Classroom. I hope you guys are having fun, creating lots of shakers and getting your fingers inky. We are going to jump in and get started. I know a lot of you are probably going to watch this classroom maybe after the holidays, but I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. I really do. We're keeping it quiet this year, and I hope your Christmas is just wonderful. Let's go ahead and take everything out of our lesson kit, and we're going to need a few supplies to create our lesson. We're going to need some markers. I have just been keeping these on my desk, but for our penguin we're going to need our black marker, our darkest gray, our C6 and our C4, and then we're going to need to rosy up our penguin's cheeks, so I'm going to bring in my light pink. We're going to need a yellow for the penguin beak and the toes. Well, I guess penguins don't really have toes, huh? For the little paddle of their, what do you call them, their feet? I don't know if they're called, penguins have feet. Oh goodness. But they sure are cute. But you're going to need an orange marker. And then I think we're going to need a C3 too. Just bring in all the C3 markers that we have, and I think we'll be good to go. We're not going to need any of the colored markers. So just basically an orange, a pink for the cheeks, and all the colored gray colors. Okay. We're also going to need a black ink, your stamping block, scissors. There's our black ink we're going to use. You're going to need glue. Craft picks are always nice. Even though we're not picking up gems, they are nice to pick up paper. You're going to need something to clean off your stamped images, whether it be spray or chamois. You're going to need that. And I think we're good to go. Oh, and your tape runner. So that's everything you're going to need for this classroom. Are you ready to jump in and get inky? We're going to again start off with our background first. We're going to go really light with this background. So let's put everything aside and grab our craft mat. Okay, if you want to protect your work surface with some printer paper, you can do that. That always helps. And then in our lesson kit, I already took it out of the clear package, which you can keep for the card bases, remember that. We are going to take our white cardstock. And you know what, while we're at it, let's trim down our acetate too. Let's have this ready to go. So just line up your white cardstock and trim around it. You have a full A2 panel of white cardstock. We're not going to use that. We're going to use the smaller, thicker one. And then we'll add, can toss this. And then I'm also going to just trim away a little bit more, so I definitely know this will fit behind my window frame. Okay. So we have our acetate and our white cardstock good to go. We need our white acrylic paint, and then we also need our ink here. Now we're going to go really light. Oh, you know what we need to do? Take your little triangle, take it to the sink, and we need to fill this up with just a little bit of water. Okay, we have some water. We're going to take our paintbrushes, and I also still have my paper towel, and I'm going to find a spot that's decent. Or you can just grab some more paper towels, guys. I'm not forcing you to, I hope I'm not forcing you to use this the whole time. But it's working for me though. But okay, now we're going to take our paint out. Keep your bag because we're going to put that back in there. And then open this up. And we're just going to add, we're not going to squeeze, we're just going to add one small drop. And my camera's going blurry here. You can see the sun's going down. I'm kind of filming this a little bit late. And then we're going to take our our little eyedropper. There we go. It's called an eyedropper. That's what we're going to do. Pick up a little bit of water, and we're going to add this, about 5 drops, to our craft mat. And then using our darker paintbrush, and I'm going to put the cover on the handle so I don't lose it. And then we're going to do a little swirling. And then we're going to take our cardstock, and we are going, this is going to be a landscape style card, so we're focusing on this upper area. So we're going to tap this down. It's kind of a really pale, so we might have to go back. Kind of a really pale. Let's add one more tap. Don't squeeze, just tap. And then with the leftover, just use the paintbrush and swirl this around. We can actually get some darker colors. And we'll tap this. Picking up some of that. Ooh, that's pretty. That turned out kind of nice. And if you want to add more water and do a little more swirling, you can. We'll just add a little more. Okay, if you have a little excess on here, use a towel and dab it off. That just helps speed up the drying. Come on, camera. Okay, I'm going to clean off. Kind of matches I'm inspired with my shirt today. I'm going to wipe off my craft mat, and I'm wishing my camera will be less blurry. We'll place this back on our panel. Now let's zoom in. Kind of matches pretty good. Well, I didn't do that intentionally. How funny. Okay, take a little bit of that acrylic paint again. We're going to do some splattering. Not too much splattering. Add a little water. You don't have to use your eyedropper to add water. You can use your paintbrush. And I'm going to add some water to thin this out. If it's too thin, I think I got mine a little too thin, you can always add more. Little goes a long way with this. This little container will last a long time. We'll just thin this out, and we can do some splattering here. And I put that cover here, you can kind of see it. Hold it and then tap it. This one, I like the way this turned out. This turned out like there's almost a blizzard in the background. Kind of worked out really pretty. But boy, you can see all the splatter that I have on my craft mat. We need to clean that up really quick, because if that dries, it does take Okay, we're good. I'm going to go ahead and clean off my brush. Actually, both of them. My white one first. And we'll put these away. Actually, we won't use these anymore. So if these are in pretty bad shape, you can just toss them, or you can use them again. I think they're in good shape for being cheap brushes. I think they lasted really good. So you can keep these in the little stash builder here. Okay. I'm going to wipe off my craft mat. I'm going to put this off to the side, and we'll let that dry. Clean out my little triangle dish. I guess I don't need to really bring this to the sink. And since we only used water for our eyedropper, you can keep this in with your watercolor. And look, guys, a little bit of ink, but not so bad. Not bad at all. We did good. I want to put my acrylic paint in here too. Okay, we're going to do a little stamping. And we are going to take our acrylic block and our black ink. We're going to stamp. We're going to do a little bit of stamping. Let's take our white cardstock that's in our lesson kit. And we're going to stamp the igloo. And we'll stamp this, go over a little bit. And I actually have one of those confetti sequins on my ink pad. I'm going to use I'm going to move that. Okay. If you get one of those confetti pieces on your stamp, you're going to have it won't create a clear impression. We'll ink this up and we'll stamp this in the corner. And then I'm going to clean this off with a baby wipe. Help me grab one. Okay. And we get to stamp a couple of these cute little penguins. I love stamping penguins. You know why? Because it doesn't take too much coloring. Just black and white. It's always nice. We're going to stamp 2 of these. And you have plenty more room to stamp more if you need to. We're going to put this penguin back. And then we're going to take the sentiment in here that says, "There's no one like you." Before we color this in, let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment. In our lesson kit, we have a couple of snowbanks. Actually, we have snowbank frames. I made it easy here. We have 2 snowbank frames that layer good. Take away the top one and layer the shorter one on top of the taller one. Layer them together, and then what we're going to do is go over your stamp it with your black ink, and we're going to stamp our sentiment on that second layer. And we're using the first layer as a guide so we know where to stamp. I think that's a good spot. Okay, we're good. We'll clean off our sentiment, and then we're going to do a little bit of coloring. Coloring is going to be really easy. We're going to put away our ink and our block here. We'll put these off with our frame. And we don't need our craft mat no more. I'm going to put this back. I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to show you how we color. The igloo is going to be really, really simple. Let me grab my markers. We're going to take our darkest. We're going to take our C4. Okay, I'm going to show you. These are the grays that I'm going to use. So I'm going to go lightest to darkest so you can kind of tell. Okay, these 2 are for the penguin. So we're going to take our middle color and we're going to go around the arch of the igloo. And just follow it around. This is going to kind of create a little bit of a shadow. Now as I color, I'm not an expert at coloring, guys. My shadow lines could be way off. Just letting you know. I just do it the way I think it looks really nice. And then I'm going to go ahead and go all the way to the right. And we're going to add a little bit of a shadow line here. So here and here. Okay, and then we're going to go with one lighter and go right above that shadow line. Follow it down. And I'm going to also take this second color and go on the inside of the doorway. Like so. Just to give it a little dimension. And then I'll take my lightest, which is a C1, and we're going to spread out that color. And this to me just adds a little dimension. So our igloo is done. Now we're going to go over our penguin with our darkest gray, not our black yet, our darkest gray. And I'm going to go over the top portion of this cute little penguin. Both of these we're going to do the same exact way. Just filling in that upper portion, going around the sides of where his hands are. Or hands. Penguins have hands. Our penguins' arms. Our penguins' wings. There we go. We'll do both of these. Now, if you don't want to blend, just go over this with your black marker. You can do that. Just real carefully. You don't want to go outside of the lines. Okay, black marker will work just like this. You can skip the blending. I'm going to take my black marker now and do a little shading with this. That's where this comes in handy. And I'm just going to go from the very bottom where his feet are and kind of do a couple little flicking motions along his hands too. Go along the top, like so. Just a little bit of adding black can cause a little bit of dimension. Little flicking motions on the bottom here, like so. I'm going to bring back that C6, the darker gray marker, and blend that black in with the gray. So we're basically trying to create a seamless transition between the two colors. That's what alcohol markers do with the blending. You can kind of create I guess watercolor markers, you can do the same thing. If you guys have ever tried coloring with watercoloring with Crayola markers, you can get some beautiful results with just Crayola markers. Maybe I should do a class with that. Let me know in the description area if you want to do a watercoloring class with Crayola markers. I think it would be very easy. Okay, so we have a little shading on our penguins. They're so cute. Now what I like to do is take a light gray marker. I'm going to use a C3. This is the middle tone. It's the lightest one we used on this one. And I'm going to add just a little bit of a C shape on the side of our penguin to make his belly look like it's a little bit round. See that little C shape? That's all you need. And then we have our orange. No shading here, just color the feet and the beak. And then we have our pink. Let's rosy up those cheeks right underneath those eyes. And our penguins are done. If you have the coordinating dies, we're going to go ahead and cut these out. If you don't, we can just fussy cut. The shapes are pretty easy. And if you do make a mistake, there's extra cardstock here. I like to separate my images when I fussy cut. To me, it just makes it easier. But I am going to leave a little bit of a white border around my penguin. Okay. Go around here. Wonderful. And then we'll go around our igloo, again leaving a little bit of that white border. Go around the bottom. And we are good. I'm going to put my markers back, and our images are all done. Let's zoom back out. We have a little bit of room here. We're going to put our stamp set away. We're all done with this. Such a cute stamp set. I think this is great for winter cards. I just love this set. Okay, we're going to bring in the rest of our kit contents. And we have 2 pieces of pattern paper. We're going to layer both of these together. Just using our tape runner. This is going to go directly on the front of our card. Then we'll add our polka dots. And I think our panel should be just about dry. Now we got a little bit of time. We're going to open up our embellishment bag. We'll put this off to the side, and then we're going to need 2 of our wooden hearts for today's card. We'll need to grab 2 of those. I'm going to use my heat gun and dry this just so we can continue. And I think that's good. It curved. You can see how it warps a little bit, but I'm not worried. Okay, let's take our frames. Our very first frame, we're going to go ahead and take our adhesive. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take our acetate. Flip this around. Now make sure it's the right way. So line it up the way it's supposed to go, and then flip it around. And then add some adhesive behind here, all along the edges. These are thinner pieces of cardstock. And then we can tack this down to our acetate. We didn't do any of the, if you want to, you can still use some white ink and do your little shading with your background. For this card, we're not going to do that. But you can if you like to do that. Okay? And then we're going to take this. We're going to add some adhesive behind here. Be careful not to get it on the on your acetate sheet. But we're going to tack this down to our sentiment sheet. We're going to do some layering with this. And this is going to give that a little bit of strength too. And then we're going to take our frame, and this is going to go on the outer edge. If you want to use glue for this, you can. Go on the outer edge of our frame here. And then this will just add, framing it all in and giving us layers and dimension and stability. I think it's kind of a little bit on the thicker side. Okay, we'll flip this around. Now we're going to bring in our foam tape. We're going to add it on the top. We'll add it on the sides here. I have some smaller pieces I can put here. And then we're going to take one and go underneath this curve line. This way our confetti is not going to fall all the way to the bottom. And then we're going to continue with our foam to go all around this. I was worried we wouldn't have enough foam tape, but it looks like we did pretty good. So we'll add some to the bottom. And then I'm going to take one more, and just so for stability, I want to add one right down the middle here. Okay. And we'll just put this back. Let's remove the release paper. Okay, and then we're going to take our confetti and our scratch paper because it gets all over, and we're going to spoon a little bit out into, if I can find my spoon. Found it. Found it. Okay, we're gonna add it. I'm not gonna go too crazy with this. The last one we went a little heavy, but I think I'll go a little light on this. So just maybe 2 scoops. And then we'll close this one up. And then, you know what you guys can do? In lesson number 2, one of our lessons, we had some extra foam. Let me see. This is lesson kit number 3. There's some extra foam squares. Let me show you. You can take one of these foam squares and then put it on the very top of your jar. And then kind of, well, I was going to say loosen the I was going to say loosen the tackiness of it, but I took it all. I got inky fingers today. I took all the tackiness. Okay, so let's remove that. Let's try it one more time. We have one more to spare. Let's add our foam, a piece of foam. We'll remove the release paper and then remove the tackiness carefully. And then you can have a place for your spoon so it doesn't go nowhere. And then hopefully it doesn't. You can probably get away with it for a little while, but probably have to replace it. But you won't lose your spoon. That's a good thing. So use that foam square for that. Okay, continuing on with our last project. We filled it with our confetti. Now we're going to take our background here, flip it around, and we're going to cover this for the back. And just a little bit of the light I think was really pretty. I like the way that turned out. And it doesn't actually, mine doesn't shake too much. Well, yeah, it does. And if you have seed beads and want a little more shake, you can use seed beads too. I'm going to go ahead and take this, flip this around, and we're going to take our twine. We wrapped it around our twine. My camera stopped. Sorry, guys. We're going to scoot it down just a little bit. Make sure that it's even on the left and the right. And then we can trim the tails. We have some left over. And then we have our shaker we're going to flip over. I'm going to use glue. Now let's use our tape runner. I'm going to use my tape runner. And we're going to add some adhesive, lots of adhesive behind here. Because that back panel is kind of a little bit warped from our smooshing. We're going to add this. Make sure your card base opens the right way. We're going to make a landscape style card. So place this just so a little bit of those polka dots are peeking out, like so. And then we get to add our penguin, our penguins, and our okay guys, help me out. What on earth did I do with my igloo? Did it fall on the floor? I'm missing my igloo. Okay. Found my igloo. I guess my mind's on the holiday because I'm losing a lot of things. Okay, we have some foam squares here. Take 2 foam squares, put it behind your igloo. Okay. And then our igloo is going to go, I think you want a little bit of room over here for another penguin. So we'll scoot it over just a little bit. Okay, and then we'll put 1 foam circle behind 1 penguin and the other behind the last one. 1 penguin is going to be playful. It's going to be standing on top of our igloo here. And then this little penguin is going to go right here. We're going to cover up that twine. I think that's a good spot for him. Cute little scene. I love scene building. Now we have some glue dots. We're going to take one of them, put it behind our little hearts. This is going to help secure it to the acetate. We're going to add a couple right next to this penguin. Kind of place them wonky a little bit. I think that's cute. And then our third, I'm almost done. Hold on, honey. At this one, I'm going to take one of our snowflakes. We're going to add it behind our snowflake. We're going to tack this down. We're going to slide this right under our bow. So the knot is right in the center there, for a little bit of sparkle on this one. And then that will finish off this card. So that will complete our final card for the Frosty Fun Classroom. I hope you had fun. I sure did. I love all the mess we made. Thanks for joining me. Let's go over all the cards that we created. We have our penguin card. We have our snow shovel card. We have our cute, I have to take it out of our package here. We have our cute polar bear card. And we have our cute Eskimo card. Really fun cards. I hope you enjoyed this month's classroom. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you soon for another classroom. Have a wonderful Christmas holiday, and we will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.